I had reached out to Matt and told him I'm working on this keynote speech that would be great for a Mindset Monday. And he said, Hey, today would be perfect because I need you. So we're going to just talk today, kind of really dig into a Mindset Monday topic around no one is coming to save you. So I'm going to jump to my screen here. Guys, I haven't done this presentation in person yet. So we're going to kind of wing it. And I can't do the full thing because it's like an hour long. But I'm going to hit some highlights here, and I just really want you to get in a space where you can kind of feel yourself in the story, uh, because I think it's something that's relevant to all of us. And I took a story of what happened to me 9 years ago, and really just like married it up with real estate message. So 9 years ago, I had to learn something that most of you guys are going to spend. You may never realize it, right? You might spend your entire life trying to avoid this truth. But that truth is that no one is coming to save you, not in life, not in your business. And I didn't learn this from a book or a mentor. I learned it sitting on the side of a highway after a car accident that forced me to redefine who I was and left me in the same place that many of you guys probably find yourself in today, where you're kind of caught between that what used to work and knowing that something needs to change. Oop, we're skipping ahead too fast. Um, to help you guys, I don't know why this is going right to the accident scene here, but to help you guys kind of understand where I came from, I lived in a data driven world. Like data was my life. My brain was my superpower. And I spent my entire career really focused on marrying up data and medical world. So I could look at data and I know you guys have heard me say I'm a data nerd. I am a true data nerd. I love like being able to just see the stories within data. And I was able to really take a story of what these numbers and letters told me and be able to identify providers who are billing fraudulently. I could say this doesn't make sense. This is a trend that needs to be analyzed, and would have the medical team go and look at medical records. And we identified in many cases providers who were very fraudulently billing for Medicaid and Medicare services. But why I tell you this is I need you to understand before I tell you the full story of my brain was my superpower. Everything that I could do with my brain, like that was my identity, how good I was at what I was doing. And as I was sitting on the side of the road after this accident, I just kind of knew something wasn't right. But I didn't know the gravity of how wrong it was. Um, but I really knew something just wasn't right and something was about to change. So I'm confident there's probably a couple of you on this call today who can relate, but in a way of business, right? Maybe some of you guys are sitting here today and you just feel like your business is a wreck. Like you're not doing your lead gen like you need to, you're not doing the business that you need to. Everything just feels really, really messy and broken. And you're just sitting here waiting for someone to come save you. Maybe it's a business partner, maybe it is a shiny new tool, but you're waiting. You're just waiting for that something to come and save you. And that was kind of where I was too, right? I thought I was invincible. I thought that, like my identity was completely built on being capable and having people depend on me. And so I felt in this moment, I just felt very lost, kind of knowing that something had changed. So, kind of just to give you guys a little bit of backstory on the accident, I uh, had a very big ego at the time, and I had the vice president of our company had asked me to attend this meeting. And I didn't typically get invited to have a seat at this table with these high level people. So I was absolutely not going to turn this down. Um, and honestly, I probably could have joined virtually. I worked virtually, but my ego was really, really big in that moment. And I really just wanted to be there in the room with those people because I thought I could make a difference or I could be seen. Um, I had bronchitis, I was sick, and all of a sudden the weather reports showed that there was going to be a snowstorm on this 2 hour trek that was right in the middle of my 4 hour drive home. And my husband, who never ever says anything about me traveling, literally begged me not to go, but I didn't listen to him. To kind of appease him, I upgraded to this beautiful Tahoe here. There's a couple of you on here that know me and know that I am not great. I'm not a terrible driver, but I am a terrible parker. And I knew I had to get into a parking garage. So for me to decide to take this Tahoe, um, it felt really uncomfortable. I showed up, I called, I upgraded to get an SUV to kind of protect me, and was supposed to get a small SUV that wasn't ready. But then they said, hey, we've got this Tahoe if you want to take it. And I had a hair appointment. You girls know we do not move our hair appointments. So I took this Tahoe, which will later be kind of one of the things that I feel actually saved my life. But it was kind of like those little decisions compounding. So when you guys think about your business and the little decisions compounding, right? Are you building things that are in essence like the Tahoe, right? In my mind, this was a tank, right? Are you building things that are like a tank that's going to protect your business? Or are you making the little decisions that are going to compound into moving you forward into an accident, right? I didn't listen to my husband. I didn't listen to the fact that I was sick. I had all of these things just chirping at me that I shouldn't go, and I didn't listen to it. And I feel like I do that in my business time and time again, right? We know we should be doing the lead gen, but just we're going to skip it for one day, which then one day becomes 10 days, which becomes 30 days. And all of a sudden, we haven't done our lead gen in a really long time and our business suffers. So I went to that meeting, which was completely uneventful. I didn't need to be there. I could have attended virtually because over half of the people attended virtually. But I wasn't feeling great. I knew that it was starting to sleet, and I just knew I needed to stay the night, that I was too tired, was going to stay the night. And in that moment, I thought that decision was what was going to actually protect me. But it's quite possible that decision was actually one of the decisions that I don't know. I just truly feel like God needed me to get in this accident to wake up from things. And so that accident, that decision to try to protect myself actually turned into the reason that I got into the accident. And I got stuck in Minnesota for 2 days. It didn't even look like it snowed around me. It was more like a half hour away. And I was stuck there for 2 days. But after 2 days, the roads opened up. So we have kind of a system here for those of you that don't have snow. And it's like there's different levels. And so the roads had been closed. And on Saturday, I was just missing my kids, and it flipped from the roads being closed to travel not advised. And I kind of thought, you know what? I'm invincible, right? I'm invincible. I want to see my kids. I'm an Iowa girl, right? The travel not advised just means drive slow, don't be stupid. But unfortunately, I was not thinking about the fact that other people can be extremely stupid and confident in these conditions. So I'm driving along, and about an hour or so in, the roads start getting pretty nasty. We're all driving in the left lane because the right lane is just so packed with ice or snow that it's just basically a sheet of ice. All driving in the left lane, and all of a sudden I look down. I'm like, oh, I need to get gas, and I decided not to get gas because I wanted to go to Starbucks and get a latte, and the exit after that one had a latte. So I thought I would or had a Starbucks. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait one more exit so I can get that latte. And about, um, I don't know, about probably 5 minutes later, traffic stopped in front of me. And as traffic came to a halt, I started to slow down, had complete control of my car, but out of the corner of my eye in the rearview mirror, I caught something coming at us really, really fast. And it ended up being a semi, a young kid who was just super confident. We would come to find out he was just swerving in and out of the roads and driving fast. And he was going about 50 miles an hour and didn't hit his brakes until he ran into the car behind me. And he pushed that car into me, pushed me into another car, started this chain reaction. In fact, the car that was two in front of me had been pushed into that right lane that no one was driving in, and that same semi driver came still had that momentum and came and just swiped that car again. Um, yeah, it was quiet. It was still, and I think it really took me quite a while to understand what had happened. So this is a scene of the car that I hit, and then ahead of it is that semi. So you can tell like there's three cars ahead of me, and that semi didn't land until he was past all of us, just to kind of add gravity to that situation. And it was a weird moment. OnStar came on. I am not like an F-bomb kind of girl, and I was throwing out F-bombs left and right. I was so mad at that operator for not just getting someone there. Why did she not understand the gravity of the situation? Um, Long story short, I stepped out of my car. I watched a man be extricated from his vehicle, the guy that got hit twice. Um, and honestly, I didn't think he was alive. They put him on a stretcher, and his wife screamed like this horrifying scream that I will never, ever forget in my life. Um, but yeah, I ended up going to the hospital. They kind of told me what I wanted to hear. It was just whiplash. They didn't think anything was major. And it would really end up turning out to be a years long process of recovery. But through that process, I had to give up the career that I had built so well. I ended up being diagnosed with a brain injury. I was reading at the speed of a 6 year old. I had trouble just coming up with thoughts. I couldn't listen to loud noises. There was just so much. It was like the filter in my brain had shut off. And it also had so many implications to the rest of my body, just constant fight or flight. And I eventually had to give up that career that I loved. Um, and in that moment, I kind of lost who I thought I was. Now, I think a lot of times we find ourselves in this exact same situation in real estate. Not that we're head on with a car, right? But like our business comes head on at us, and the things that were working before no longer work. And we're forced with a decision where we either have to change or we have to stay stuck, or we choose to stay stuck, right? And just doing the same things that are no longer working. And a lot of us are afraid to make that change because we're afraid if we change who we are, how we think, what we do, it's a complete identity shift. And we feel like we won't be who we are, or we're just afraid, right? We're all very driven by pain. And so we think the pain of changing is going to be worse than the pain of staying the same. So we just get comfortable and we stay the same. So at this point in time, I spent a lot of time on the phone with insurance companies. It was a work comp claim. If you guys have not had the opportunity to work with work comp before, it is its own special kind of hell. I don't know how else to say it nicely. They play a lot of games, and the system is set up like the state sets it up in a way where it just allows them to play a lot of games. There's a lot of loopholes for them to get around things. And so at this point, I was drowning in debt, trying to figure out how to get the care that I needed. And my sweet mom here had offered me an opportunity to work with her in real estate. So that's kind of how I got to that point. But the big life-changing piece of this for me was a moment where I just felt so stuck. I felt like I had lost my identity. I felt like I was not financially stable. I didn't even really know who I was. So it wasn't just changing my job, right? It was like everything in my whole world had crumbled down around me, and I just had lost who I was as a whole. And there was a moment in my life where I truly, I truly didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to live anymore. And the one thing, the one like turning point, the pivotal point, I hate that my mom's on here and has to hear this, but it was I thought about taking my own life. And in that moment, I saw myself in a casket with my children looking over me. And all I could think about was how they would feel if I did that to them. And in that moment, it did two things. It helped me reaffirm that I matter. I know that I matter because my children would care if I was gone. The people that I love would care if I was gone. But it also helped me solidify the fact that no one else was coming to save me. I had spent so long writing, like waiting for the right doctor, the right therapy, the right procedure, the right whatever to come and save me. And I knew in that moment that I was the only one that could save myself. And I know that's pretty heavy for a Monday morning. Um, but I want you guys to really think about that. As you're sitting here in your careers, if things aren't working right, I need you to realize that you have the power to make the change. You are you are your own hero. You are your own savior. You can make the decision to change. And there's not one person that's going to come and save you until you decide that you're willing to save yourself. Now, the other thing I want to really preface with this is like the whole you're not alone. I sat in so many days of silence and just pretending that I was alone and telling myself that I was the only one and that no one else could understand. And like my path to freedom came when I started letting people in. I started finding the people that could help me. I started opening up to people. And I think this is something we do in our business so often as we sit there and we kind of sulk and we get frustrated and we think no one's going to understand what we're going through in our business. But the freedom comes when you find the coach or the mentor or the colleague that has walked the path that you have, that has the struggle or has had the struggle you have, and you kind of release that to them. You hear their story and you understand the blueprint that they had to get out of that. And then you actually take the steps to follow that blueprint. Phew. So I think that's the promising piece, right? That you guys have is that if you're sitting at this crossroads today, you actually have the choice to make a different decision. Even if you feel stuck or lost or like you can't move forward in your business, you don't know what to do, you actually have a choice. You have a choice to stay on the same path that you're on or to go and do something about it, to find the right people, to surround yourself with the right people that can help you move forward. Now, this is the part of I kind of led it on or early, but this is the part of the story where I'm like, the path opened up. That was when my mom had offered me an opportunity to get back into real estate. So at that point in time, it was a very temporary decision. I had been in real estate right outside of high school, and I left after 3 years, and I said I was never coming back to real estate. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with family before. It's tough. It's tough. And I was never coming back. But my mom offered me that opportunity to be her assistant and just help with things as I could. And I knew I had to take that opportunity because it kind of opened up a door for me to really focus on me and my healing. But what came out of that was this complete passion and love for real estate. I completely looked at real estate differently than when I was younger. And I just found this love, this new identity that really fueled me. And look at her now. And, and really, it was just like brick by brick, piece by piece, I started to rebuild my identity and my life and just become something different. So, the big thing with this, if you are stuck, if you are feeling like your business is stuck and you need something to change, just stick with the basics. We talk about this all the time, right? There's all kinds of fancy ways to do things, but it really comes down to the basics. Do your calls. You need to have lead gen on your calendar every day during the week, 1 hours to 2 hours. If you're an individual agent that is calling buyers and sellers, if you are a team leader, you need to add some recruiting into that. Pretty simple. Number two, you have to have a CRM to track. Like 95% of people don't do follow up. So if you want to stand out from 95% of all the other agents, all you have to do is follow up and have a system to follow up. It is truly that simple. And really just making sure that you're consistent in what you're doing and that you don't let people detract you from the easy things. Oh, the third thing. Sorry. I need to practice this more. Marketing. You have to market yourself too. I know it's super comfortable uncomfortable for some of you to be on social media. I'm just going to give a shout out to Brad because I am seeing him show up more and more and it makes me so like excited for him. But marketing is so important. And social media, like having a social media footprint is so, so important. That's the third piece of it. You're doing all the follow-up, people are going to search you out. So make sure that you're doing marketing and that you're really making yourself stand out so they know who you are. Because people work with people they know, like, and trust. And if they know, like, and trust you before they even start to work with you, the business just becomes so much easier. But don't be afraid to rebuild either. Um, I have rebuilt my business. I have been in the real estate business, the second stint for 8 years now, and I have rebuilt my business at least three times. I rebuilt it when I first started. I rebuilt it when my dad got Parkinson's and closed his home building business, which was our main source of listings. And I'm rebuilding it again now after a partner and I kind of just didn't align on our team structure. And so I am rebuilding my team and all kinds of things right now. So I just want to encourage you guys to, like, if you feel stuck and you know you need to make a move, don't be afraid to rebuild because it is never too late to rebuild, whether that's your identity as a whole or your business. It's really never too late to rebuild. And I just want to really encourage you that the power is yours, right? No one is coming to save you, but that's actually a really positive thing because that means that you are your own savior. You have the power to save yourself. I want to remind you guys not to get stuck in the hole of thinking that you're alone. I don't mean this harshly, but your problems are not that unique. There is someone who has walked the path that you have walked or that you are currently walking, and you just need to find the right person to help get you back on path. And then just encourage you again to not be afraid to step out and do something new, do something different, rebuild yourself, rebuild your business, whatever it takes to really help you find that happiness. All right, that was really heavy. Sorry. But I want to pause for a moment and just get your guys' take on what you heard, what resonated, if that was too heavy for a Monday morning.
I'm glad you had the moment of realizing that you matter and how many people would miss you if, I mean, I didn't know you yet, but man, think of all the things that you would have missed out on. And just, I'm glad you had that moment. I'm
Yeah.
sure your mom's very glad. that-
Yeah.
Um, and that you made a choice to do something that was scary and hard but you made a good choice. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, I think that if you guys ever find yourself in a funk, the best thing you can do is truly just keep a gratitude journal and start writing the things you're thankful for. And all of a sudden, you'll find like there's a lot of people that need you. If you ever feel stuck in any way, I think that's one of the best ways to get yourself out of it is just really realize there are people that you would impact, even if it's just one person, right? There are people that you impact and people whose lives you change. Who's ready to go do their lead gen now? I feel like that's the big thing, guys, that the recurring message, right, time and time again is just it's the little things that matter. We all try to do the big things or look at the big things, but it's really just those little powerful steps, those little powerful actions that stack. We talk about this a lot here, the habit stacking. And I think those are so important um, to just start doing the little things. So if you're not doing lead generation right now, and an hour seems too time consuming, just to commit to making 5 contacts today or to making 5 phone calls if you need to. If you guys want to play a game, like find a friend and see who can get the most no's in that day. Like don't reward yourself for the yeses, reward yourselves for the no's because the yeses come from the no, after the no's or within the no's. So, but really just making those little steps. If you're not taking care of your health, just start. It's like I'm gonna just do it one day and then make it 2 and then make it 3. If you're just little steps.
It's a
When
funny
I say
thing.
big.
I dreamed about lead gen. So I got a yes. So anyhow, I think it's funny that it's on my mind.
Yeah. Probably on your mind. I always feel like the universe, God, like brings us what we need exactly when we need it. So it's just, are you going to like show up and answer that call or make the call? It's the hard part. All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me get a little vulnerable today and share a little bit of my story. That was, yeah, I know heavy, but I really want to just encourage you guys to go start off your Monday and um, not limit yourself, not feel stuck, and really just go make a difference in this world because you guys all have something special to offer your clients, your family, your friends. Don't waste that. Don't waste that. So have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you guys Wednesday.